So what's going on, y'all? It's me back again today with another YouTube video. And now guys, if you're new here, my name is Navoy. I'm actually an online trainer. I'm from South Florida, but I've been living in Germany about this last 7 years. So if you're looking for online coaching, you're tired of the other online coaches dancing in your videos, go on ahead, check me out on NavoyVincentFitness.com for all your coaching needs. And guys, these YouTube videos are just as for the other side of bodybuilding, so the mental side of it. And the topic of today is going to be cut toxic people and friends out of your life. Now guys, this should be a no-brainer, but I shouldn't even have to make a video about this, because this is something that me personally, it kind of took me a while to figure out, especially because I can always remember when I look back in my life, I was always trying to make friends, or at least have a nice little friend group, but I didn't really do this. Or at least I wouldn't say I didn't do this, but I would always try to make friends with as many people as possible, or try to be accepted. And I didn't learn or at least I didn't understand the importance of sometimes it's better just kind of rock with yourself, kind of be dolo, kind of roll by yourself. And the biggest example I can always look back and remember about this, it was when I was at my last job. There was actually these scientists that I used to sometimes kind of hang out with. And what I kind of learned was, I noticed there was low-key some haters. They didn't like me because when I was at my last company, I was working a corporate job. So you're working with these scientists and they're kind of these little nerdy dudes or whatever. And I noticed was, especially when I go eat at the lunch or the Mittagspause is what it's called in German. So basically lunch, we had like a big cafe, and it was kind of expected that everyone would go eat there during lunch. And I noticed, especially, man, I was getting a lot of choosing signals from the women. And, you're a big muscle black guy. You're fulfilling all these little weird ass Mandingo fantasies that they be having about the brothers, even though she's married to, a white man. And I noticed I'd sometimes sit with people. I just try to sit with random people just to socialize. And I could tell some dudes, man, they just hated my guts. They could not stand my, they was just automatically, you could just sense it. And it was usually just rooted in envy and jealousy. And what I noticed was some of them would at first try to be cool with me, or at least, hey, he's also, he's a foreigner too. So they would try to kind of be cool with me in that sense. And they kind of noticed that I was also kind of a little smart too. Like they expect you to be kind of like the big dumb gym guy. And a lot of times, especially living over here in Europe, my German is actually very, very good. I speak German pretty well. I would say maybe some grammatical errors here and there with the cases. That's usually the biggest issue for anybody who's not a native speaker, if you will. And I noticed was, I would sometimes catch them saying these little weird, slick things, and I'd check them on it, and I kind of realized, I'm like, okay, you low-key don't like me. You just kind of hanging around me. I never understood why. And I even just looking back, I kind of realized some of them, they ain't really have much to do, or at least at the time, I think it was because of the virus time, they were just kind of hanging out with people because they were bored. And I noticed ever since then, I never hear from them. But I could kind of tell them, man, they didn't really like me because I noticed some of the little women that they was friend zoned by was always kind of throwing me choosing signals. And at the time I had a girl, so it didn't even really matter to me. I just was like, you're just being friendly. They're just your coworkers, if you will. Yeah, they're kind of choosing, but it is what it is. And one of the things that I learned was once I kind of caught this, I cut them off immediately. I just stopped hanging out with them. I don't call them, guys, it's better to be alone than to be around a bunch of people that don't even really rock with you like that. They low-key wishing on your downfall. Let's say I were to break my leg tomorrow, they'd probably be happy as hell, guys. And these are the type of people, as soon as you get a sniff of any jealousy, or they saying these little backhanded jokes, or it's just a joke, guys, you gotta cut people like that out immediately. Do not play about stuff like that at all, because especially, I hate to bring race into it, but if you just look at Black history especially, we'll look at Dr. King. This dude had, I think his name was Medgar Evers, I'm not sure, I could be wrong. One of his people that was right next to him, right under him in his organization, was a federal informant. He was working with the FBI, smiling in his face, probably kissing his wife on the cheek, hello, going ahead and greeting his kids. Maybe his kids played with Martin Luther King's kids. He was a whole FBI informant the whole time. Even with There was a brother out in Chicago from the Black Panthers. Same thing. This dude was actually a positive. They was doing some real positive stuff out there in Chicago. They had the free lunch program. They're organizing the community. Somebody that was under him, under the organization, was a whole FBI informant, gave the FBI the layout of his crib, and then they went over there and, you know, basically unalived the dude. And these are two situations where those two brothers, Martin Luther King and then the other brother in the question, out of there in Chicago, they probably saw or noticed some little weird things that they was doing or saying, and they probably just chalked it up to their paranoia, if you will, their own little paranoia, and that ended up getting them killed, guys. You look at Jesus with Judas. That's the best. That's the biblical example. Judas was saying a little weird stuff. He was probably doing little weird stuff. Jesus himself even looked at dude and was like, bro, you up to something? Nah, bro, I'm not. Even with Peter. Yeah, man, I'm not nobody's gonna disobey Jesus. And as soon as Jesus got murked, Judas got in ahead and got that money. And on top of that, Peter denied that he was one of Jesus's followers. Guys, that's just how it is. Once you start to notice little things, you gotta cut these people off. You can be nice to them, or hell, you can even somewhat kind of hang out with them, but keep them at arm's length. Don't tell them nothing. Guys, one of the biggest things, I remember my mom used to have one of her little homegirls come over to the house gossiping. And I remember my older brother even told her, I'm like, she's gossiping about you with other people's business. You don't think she's doing the same with you? And I even at that age, I'm like, bro, if you catch another person around you gossiping, you need to watch that person. That person is not for you. They're low-key kind of we call them a chatty patty where I'm from. Jealous, envious people like that, you gotta cut them out. Toxic people. It's ladies too, man. Ladies, y'all will have these homegirls that's just a train wreck, and y'all don't cut them off because for some reason, that's my girl, blah, blah, blah. And then you shocked when that train wreck homegirl going ahead and trying to mess with your boyfriend or mess with your husband. And you sitting there looking stupid because you didn't learn or at least pay attention to this. Guys, y'all got to be smart out here. It's 2023. It's the age of Aquarius, age of awakening. That third eye is opening. You got to be open. You got to pay attention. So yeah, that's all I got to say today, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you're new here, as the slogan goes, make sure to control the negative, focus on the positive. It's your boy Navoy, repping Navoy Fitness. I'm out.